שמו בסוני יום ליום ישועתו ספרו בגולים כבודו בכל העמים נפלאותיו יגדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד נורא על כל אלוהים
to honor the way in which we enter into Shabbat and bring in Shabbat to us with others in community. So some of us are together here in the chapel and some of us are in our homes. I see some representation from the West Coast. At least 2 people are here from the West Coast, and I actually know of others that are watching online, as has been their practice for a while. So we are actually crossing the country with these words and melodies, and together we say, Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabala. Come, my beloved, let's greet Shabbat. Let's bring in this incredible presence that is itself beloved to us, a time of peace and connection that will hopefully restore us. And we need that rest and restoration. We need it so much, and especially at a tender time in the way that, as I said earlier, poised between Israel's election and our upcoming election in this country. It feels like a tender time in so many ways. And so we sing together, page 20 and 21, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, we will rise and face the door and bow. Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ישמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה. פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5? Okay, verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת קמה. לך דודי לקראת קמה. פני שבת we rise if we're able to face the door, the entrance to our homes to greet the bride. Verse 9. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, צוף אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקרא.
Seated. Now that we have fully entered into Shabbat, we can take the opportunity in this sanctuary in time to really zoom out, not zoom like Zoom, but zoom out in the old-fashioned meaning of the word, in photography, and really understand, really call to mind and heart some of the blessings of our lives. And they may be things that we didn't stop to notice, but in retrospect, as we enter into Shabbat, we can say, you know, that was amazing. So something that made you say, wow, I would like you to think of something and bring it to heart and mind. And if you're on Zoom, you are welcome to bring those things into the chat. And I'll ask if anyone here has something to share that has made you say, wow, because we're preparing to go into our wow song, the excerpt that we sing, Ma Gadlu Ma'asecha Ya, which really means wow. This creation is amazing. Anyone have anything you'd like to share here in the room? Yeah, Kate.
I was rushing out the door this morning and I noticed that the light coming into my apartment was just absolutely stunning, and I just had to stop for a second.
Good for you. So if you couldn't hear, Kate was saying that she was running out, quickly rushing out of her apartment, but then noticed light that was coming in that was just stunning, and she stopped to notice it. Excellent. Yes?
Similarly, we were stuck in traffic on our way, and I noticed the light changing, the sun set with the different stripes of colors.
Beautiful. Noticing the sunset. Yes, a benefit of being stuck in traffic, I have found lately, is, yes, noticing things like sunsets and cloud formations, and especially the trees and the leaves as they've been changing and making their way through this incredible cycle that they go through. Others? Anyone else in the room? Okay. I'm going to see if anyone... Daria, do you see anyone in the chat? Okay, I'm trying to get to the chat. Sorry, everybody. This iPad is not letting me maneuver it, so.
Zita said today's weather.
Today's weather, okay, we got one. Today's weather was unbelievable. Magadlu, indeed. Anyone else? Okay. Sorry, everybody. The iPad seems to be frozen, but everybody on Zoom can see what you've written in. That's wonderful. Let's turn to the top of page 71, and you can sing either just Hallelujah, Let Us Praise Yah, or Magalu, Ma'asecha Ya Me'odam Ku Machshavotecha. And keep thinking as we sing. Maybe other things will come to mind.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
This time I'd just like to share a few words about where we are in Torah and maybe give you some food for thought for your Shabbat. We're in Parashat Lech Lecha, the third Torah portion in the book of Genesis. We're just 3 Torah portions in to Torah, having started over again with Simchat Torah. And we read the very first verses. First I'll read them in Hebrew and then in English. Vayomer Adonai el Avram, Lech lecha me'artzecha, u'mimoladetcha, u'mivet avicha, el ha'aretz asher areka. And that means God says to Avram, go forth from your native land and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. Ve'escha legoy gadol, ve'avarchecha, ve'agadla shimcha, ve'haya bracha. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Ve'avaracha mivar. I printed this too small. Viverchecha umikalelcha aor. Venivrechu vecha kol mishpachot ha'adama. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, and all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you. So I want to point out a couple of things, and perhaps you noticed them either in hearing the verse now or having read this verse before. God said to Avram, okay, first of all, at this point in the Torah, have we ever heard of Avram? No. Go forth from your native land, and from mi moladetcha u mi beit abicha el haaretz asher areka. Go from your land, from your birthplace, and from your father's house. Is there anything strange about repeating all of those things? Go from your land, from your birthplace, from your father's house. If you were an editor, would you have tightened that up a bit? Yeah, you don't necessarily need all of that to convey that Avram at this point, is going from a place where he is deeply rooted. So whoever he is, and this call is coming out of nowhere. This call is coming absolutely out of nowhere. What we do know is that he is really rooted where he is. Now, we haven't heard, when I said, have we heard of Abraham before, what I want you to know about that is that, as Rabbi Jonathan Sachs notes, The Torah gives us no portrait of Avram's childhood, his youth. We don't know anything about him until this call comes. Well, we still don't know, but soon we do. Jonathan Sacks says this is the boldest beginning of any account of a life in the Hebrew Bible. It seems to come from nowhere. We don't know anything about his childhood, his youth, his relationship with the other members of his family, how he came to marry Sarah, or why God chose him. What are the qualities that made God single this particular guy, Avram, single him out to become the initiator of what ultimately turned out to be the greatest revolution in the religious history of humankind, what is called nowadays Abrahamic monotheism. So Rabbi Sacks points out something so interesting. How many of you, when you think of, or how many of you are thinking right now, we know about Abraham's childhood. He's the guy that smashed all the idols. Anyone ever hear that story? Yeah, I'm seeing some folks nod. And if I could see folks on the Zoom, I bet we're getting some nods out there, but I can't see you. I thought that. I thought we knew a lot about Abraham's childhood, because in Hebrew school, I was taught that he smashed the idols in his father's shop, because he realized that there was only one God, and you can't make God isn't represented in an idol, in a statue, right? No, that's not from Torah. That's from a midrash. That's the rabbis trying to fill in the gaps. Later, after Torah. It doesn't come from the Torah text itself. It comes from later interpretation, trying to fill in the gaps, which is what Torah commentators like to do. So I have always been struck by, first of all, the fact that, like, who is this guy and why is he chosen? But how specific and repetitive, that's another thing Torah commentators like to notice. When something is repetitive, they don't think it's some sort of poor editing. They think, and I think it's very cool to think this way, it's got to mean something, and I really believe it does. It's to call our attention to something, and that is, Abraham is coming from a place where he has to really pull up roots, and that's not easy. So instead of just saying, go leave your house, it says go to the place where you were born, like your father's house, this place that is so where you are from. Now, what does he tell Avram about where he's going to go? Absolutely nothing, other than I'm going to show it to you. So in these first verses of Lech Lecha, that's how it begins. I'm going to go from where you're really rooted, go to where I'm going to show you, and then it goes on to say the reason why, or what's going to come of that if Avram says yes. Well, what's going to happen is, I'm going to make you a great nation, I will bless you, I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. That's amazing. Let's think about, what does that mean, you will be a blessing? You would think that we would really like it to be blessed. That sounds like something really great, right? That we think that might mean we have all kinds of wonderful things. Our lives are going very smoothly and wonderfully if we're blessed. What does it mean to be a blessing to others? And that's what is going to happen if Avram takes this leap into the unknown. And not only that, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. And here again, all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you. So to be going somewhere that he has no idea where, but these things are going to happen if he does it, that's a pretty incredible way to start this part of Torah. And ultimately, this is exactly how we're starting the story of the Jewish people. Avram was the first Jew, and only later does the Hey get added to his name. So he becomes Avraham, not just Avram. And I read an incredible interpretation about that. And by the way, Sarah is also going with him. And Sarah was Sarai, and she becomes Sarah. They both have a Hey added to their name. So in my Torah study class, Torah for the Heart and Mind, which you should all come to anytime you're free on a Thursday on Zoom, 9 a.m., we had a wonderful discussion of this Torah portion using a text by Rabbi Yael Levi. And the way that she interprets it is through the perspective of mindfulness and meditation, because that's her expertise. And the way she interprets that, what I just read to you about what's going to happen if Avram goes and does this, is this way. The reason to leap, to risk, to let go, is to be a blessing, to discover anew the good that you are, and the many ways the divine can come through you into the world. That line just struck me, so I wanted to share it with you. If you go, get up and go from where it's really hard to leave, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to take a lot of courage. If you do it and you move yourself completely out of your comfort zone, this journey is going to enable you to discover something about yourself and to discover how you can best serve the world. The many ways the divine can come through you into the world. And we had this wonderful discussion on Thursday, and some of you on Zoom were there, about the idea that I hold this idea that we have a core self, the neshama, the soul. And we have that, and it is our job to take chances, to be courageous, to move ourselves out of our comfort zone, to experience things that help us grow, and to do things that are hard sometimes. Because when we do, we are opening ourselves to let God flow through us, to give our gifts that we have been given into the world. And that it's not, I think Torah is teaching us from the very beginning, from the very first Jew, that that's not easy. And to take the easy way out all the time is not necessarily going to serve us, but even more importantly, it's not going to serve us in serving the world. And that's our purpose. And that's what's new about this new relationship between God and this new kind of person, this Jew. And Avram is the first Jew, and this relationship is about obligation to serving beyond yourself, to serving this world. And remember, what just happened last week, in last week's parsha? Does anyone here know what Torah portion we were in? Noah. So some things went very badly for creation in the story of Noah. Noah was chosen to sort of restart creation. But there's a difference. Noah wasn't told, get up from where you're comfortable and go to a place I'll show you. He was told, go and bring 2 of each kind onto your ark and ride out this flood. And we're going to start again. And now we're in a whole new world where this call is really different. Go to an unknown land, push yourself, leave what is so deeply familiar to you so that you can be a blessing for the world. Not just so that there will be a world, we're taking it a step further. You are going to bring blessing to the world. I want to share with you one more teaching by, there's a wonderful project, if any of you are artists or love art, there's something called the Jewish Studio Project, based in San Francisco, and it's an incredible organization, and on their website they list their core beliefs, and what they say is this: we believe we are continuously called on a journey into the unknown. By venturing into the unknown, we experience surprise, align with our truth, connect to the divine, and bring something new into the world. We cultivate the curiosity and courage needed to experiment, innovate, and honor, quote, mistakes, and quote, failure for what they have to teach us. So I found a study guide that another rabbi had made for this Torah portion, and they brought that quote from the Jewish Studio Project. So the world of art, right, and creating art that requires creativity and courage and curiosity, and the way that actually, building our lives, living our lives is a work of art. And we need that same openness and curiosity. So I'll leave you with that to think about: how are the ways in which you've been called to push yourself out from what is most familiar? It could be in a very major way, it could be in a small way, but how has it helped you grow? And how might it enable you in your growth to be a blessing to this world, which is ultimately our sacred obligation in this life? With that, thank you for listening, and I always welcome feedback in the chat or later on email, or talk to me anytime. And please do come on Thursday mornings at 9 if you're ever free to join Torah for the Heart and Mind, where we use teachings by Rabbi Yael Levi to look at the Torah portion. So we are going to move it on with Baruch Hu, which is on page 28, and please rise as you are able.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'el. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'el.
You can be seated. Many of you mentioned the light that you noticed, and here we have a blessing that honors that incredible cycle of light and day into night. On page 30, a few lines up from the bottom in the Hebrew. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdir ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzvaot, shemo el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'el, baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Varavim. Page 32. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shochveinu u'b'kumenu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'el Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem neger yomam v'layla yomam v'layla Ve'avatcha אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 34. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בעם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We turn to page 40 for Micha Mocha. This is an example of doing something really hard, pulling yourself out from what's familiar. That's hard, even if it's slavery. If it's all you've ever known, and you're going to an unknown place. You don't know how long it's going to take you to get to that promised land, and you see a sea in front of you. And as far as you know, there is no way to cross over. And then suddenly the sea parts, and you go through it. And then you're on the other side with that mix of gratitude and awe, disbelief and wonder, and you're freaking out a little bit too. And that's the kavanah, the intention behind these words from Torah. Micha Mocha, our people's song of gratitude. Micha Mocha, ba'elim Adonai. Micha Mocha, nedar ba'kodesh, nora teilat, osei feleh, nora teilot, osei feleh, malchutecha, ra'u banecha, bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam ha'ed. We'll turn to page 42. Blessing that we lie down in peace and rise again tomorrow to a new day. We'll sing the first two lines. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Now to the indented lines.
Ushmor tzedkenu, uvoenu, lechaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Let's turn to the third line down. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, on that same page. Spread over us a sukkah of shalom, of your shalom. Spread over us, God, a canopy
of your peace. So maybe close your eyes for a moment and just imagine that feeling of embrace, being embraced and held by a canopy of peace. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha, ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha. The last lines. Baruch atah Adonai, Aporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al kol amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Thank you so much, Andy. We're going to turn to the Amidah. It begins on page 46. Please rise in body or spirit. We'll chant together for the first few blessings and then have some quiet individual prayer moments. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה, אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Page 50. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue individually from page 54, or the words in your heart. Page 60, Shalom Rav, and you can be seated. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav
טסים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך טסים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך טסים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך טסים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם.
So that was our prayer for peace, one of the things that we are permitted to pray for on Shabbat, even though on Shabbat we are meant to really focus on what we have, the abundant blessings of our lives, and not really do too many petitionary prayers, prayers in which we ask for something, but we ask for peace and we also ask for healing. So if you're thinking of anyone in need of healing in body or spirit, I'd invite you in the chat and in the room to share the name or names of those you are thinking of for healing. And I'm going to share some names first from our community. We are thinking of Marjorie Kahn. Margie, we're thinking of you. If you're out there, or if Ed is out there, we wish you a refuah shlema with your recent knee replacement surgery. John Murray, Carolyn Coney, Harvey Solomon, Chaim Meir, Ben Shlomo V'Chanalea, Linda Hoffman, Leah Bat Kayla, Esther Neshama, Karen Weber, Karen, I see you out there, Esther Tzvia Bat Asher V'Nechama, Judy Shepro, Chaim Mesh, Chaya Blima Bat Chaim Chia Vasilia Rucho, Cassandra Warshawski, Yosef Ben Herschel Verut, Joe Siegel, I see you, Joanna, Jeffrey Colt, Glenna Bob, Julia Berkman, and Eileen Schwartz. So anyone in the room, if you'd like to mention a name or names for healing, you can feel free. Otherwise, you may want to just hold somebody in your heart. Sorry that I can't see the chat. So I know we have names in the chat. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Oops. Okay. I'm sorry, friends on Zoom, but know that those names have entered into our space here through the internet, through the ether, and we're holding everyone in need of healing of body or spirit in our hearts as we sing page 253 in the middle. Mi sheberach Avotenu mekor habracha lahimotenu. Bless those in need. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless
bless those in need of healing with refuah shleima, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Turn to page 282 and please rise as you're able for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח, לדון הכל, לתת גדולה, ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה בקרוב בשמיים מעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You can be seated. So I know that some of you are here observing a yard site of a loved one, anniversary of a death, or if you're in a period of mourning, I want to invite any of you in that category here in the room, first of all, to rise and share the name of the one you are remembering. Judy.
My dad, Sam Halber.
May his memory be for a blessing. Is anyone else reciting Kaddish for anyone? Okay. We are certainly thinking of Natasha Goldman and her family as they mourn the loss of Natasha's mother, Marilyn Bass Goldman, recently. If you are observing yard site and you're on Zoom and want to put your loved one's name in the chat as a symbolic way of bringing them into our space, please feel free. And please rise for Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ביעלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
We can be seated. Just a few announcements for our community tomorrow, but that includes guests, even if you're not members. You're all our community. Tomorrow at 10:30, Rabbi Queen will lead a Shabbat morning Torah study that will be only on Zoom, and you can find the link in the newsletter or in your Shul Cloud. Sunday, we're part of a really interesting event called Celebrating Our Diversity Together.
which is a celebration in East Boston, taking place from 1 to 5 p.m., and it's organized by JCAM, the Jewish Cemetery Association of Massachusetts. There will be a tour of the historic Ohabei Shalom Cemetery. The Temple Ohabei Shalom Cemetery is very old. We no longer own it. It was given to the Jewish Cemetery Association in 1996, but it is a really historic place and a really important part of our history. And as we celebrate our 180th year, this will be a really special way to acknowledge that history as well. We'll have a tour of the cemetery and the chapel there. Mayor Wu will be speaking, and I will also be speaking. And there will be food trucks, which that's the real draw. That's how I'm getting my kids to come. So food trucks, and I know it doesn't sound fun because you're at a cemetery, but it's actually really a celebration of the diversity in the various communities of East Boston, which is why Mayor Wu will be there. So I hope you'll come and bring your friends. And just so you know, I'll be speaking at 1:40. So if you really want to hear my 5-minute talk, come then. I do not know when Mayor Wu is speaking, but I hope it's right around when I'm speaking. I definitely want to get to hear her, but the whole event should be really wonderful whenever you come. And Thursday, as I mentioned, my every week class, Torah for the Heart and Mind, 9 a.m. on Zoom. And next Friday is Veterans Day. We'll be closed, our office will be closed, but we will have our Erev Shabbat service, and that will be on Zoom only. We wanted to give our facility staff a break and not open up the building for services, so you are welcome to join us on Zoom. And as always, we have a lot more going on. Check your newsletter and the TOS website for more information. And I want to thank Andy O'Connell for his incredible musicianship, accompanying me and on vocals as well. And I'd like to thank Daria for managing our tech tonight and ushering. And Mike, our wonderful security guard. Thank him too. And we will close with Kiddush and Motzi, and then we'll sing Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We'll recommit ourselves to building a world of chesed, of compassion. We rise, and the Kiddush and Motzi blessing. The blessings are on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei bri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. This looks much tastier than the wooden challah I was saying the blessing over in the preschool classrooms this morning. And some of the kids did indeed try eating that challah. I told them they should hold out for the real thing. And you can all take a piece on your way out, and we have hand sanitizer over there. We'll say the Motzi blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Okay, we can be seated, and we'll close with these words, which unfortunately are not in our prayer book, but you'll catch on soon enough. Words come from the Psalms. We will commit to building a world based in chesed, in abundant compassion and love. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. La-da-dai, lai-lai, la-la-lai-lai. Olam chesed yivaneh. La-da-dai, lai-lai, la-da-dai-dai. Olam chesed yivaneh. La-da-dai, lai-lai, la-da-dai-dai. I will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, da-dai, da-dai, and you must build this world from love. Da-da-dai, da-dai, da-dai, and if we build this world from love, da-da-dai, da-dai, da-dai, then God will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, da-dai, da-dai, Olam chesed yivaneh. 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 Da-da-dai, da-dai, da-dai. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And those on Zoom, Shabbat Shalom to you. I don't know why the iPad is frozen, so I cannot see you and hear you, but I'm waving to you and sending you blessings for Shabbat. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and we will see you next time. Stay healthy and safe. Many blessings for